Most people speak without knowing they are casting spells. Words are thrown into the air like broken arrows, unaware that each one is carving a future. You've likely heard phrases like, "Watch your words," or "speak it into existence." But have you ever truly considered what they mean? Behind every word lies a vibration, and behind that vibration is intention. Without realizing it, millions walk through life with their mouths open and minds closed, unaware that they're speaking their fate into being every single day. But what if your voice wasn't just a means of communication, but a tool of creation? What if, deep within, your words carried the same force that shaped galaxies? The power is not hidden, it's forgotten, dormant, waiting, not in a book, not in a teacher, not in some distant realm, but in your chest, behind your breath, woven into your awareness. To use your godlike voice is not just to speak louder, it's to speak with frequency, purpose, and clarity. And once that's remembered, the universe has no choice but to respond. Every whisper, every statement, every intention declared, ripples into the quantum field like a stone in still water. The universe isn't ignoring you, it's echoing you. And yet, most speak from fear, not faith. They ask for abundance while feeling lack, beg for love while harboring self-doubt, and demand change while fearing movement. The result? Mixed signals, scattered frequencies, static that dilutes the power of the original message. Speech without coherence becomes noise, and noise, though loud, lacks direction. Your words are not idle. They carry weight because they are vibration. When you speak, you set molecules into motion, not just in the air, but in your own field of energy. That movement shapes matter. Just as a tuning fork can make another resonate across space, your spoken frequency begins organizing reality around it. This isn't poetry, it's physics. The universe functions not on language, but on vibration, and your voice is the bridge between thought and form. In this sense, language becomes technology, and the tongue, an instrument of creation. Ancient texts and mystical traditions have long understood this. In many creation stories, sound precedes form. "Let there be light" wasn't a suggestion, it was a command. Logos, the divine word, is not just a mythological artifact. It is the recognition that reality begins with vibration. Your words are not just descriptive, they are generative. They don't just describe what is, they initiate what will be. To speak consciously is to code your environment. To speak unconsciously is to let default patterns run your life. Imagine for a moment your voice as a conductor's baton. Each syllable sets energy into rhythm. Confidence increases the tempo. Clarity sharpens the notes. Emotion swells the volume. The entire field listens, particles arranging themselves, timelines bending slightly in your favor, doors creaking open where before there were none. When your voice is aligned with your intention and emotion, reality has no choice but to shift in response. The more consistent the tone, the stronger the symphony. You are not just making sound, you are conducting existence. But power without awareness is chaos. To truly command the universe through voice, awareness of one's inner state becomes essential. Speaking from confusion creates confusion. Speaking from desperation multiplies lack. However, when thought, word, and feeling harmonize, the voice becomes divine in function. No longer a plea, it becomes a proclamation. You don't speak to see if the universe will respond, you speak knowing it must. Not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. That is the sound of creation. Voice is vibration, yes, but without emotion, it remains a flat signal. Frequency becomes powerful only when charged, and that charge comes not from logic or volume, but from feeling. Emotion is the voltage that powers your words. Just as electricity animates a machine, emotion animates intention. When you speak with emotion, you infuse your words with life. They stop being statements and start becoming forces, directives sent into the fabric of reality with energetic momentum behind them. Many speak their desires, yet feel the opposite. They affirm abundance while internally fearing lack, They declare love while bracing for rejection. And then they wonder why the universe returns contradictions. It's not confusion, it's precision. The universe does not respond to language, it responds to resonance. You are not manifesting what you say, you are manifesting what you mean. The gap between spoken word and inner vibration determines the result. When the two contradict, the vibration wins every time. Emotion is not weakness, it's power. Joy, gratitude, confidence, love. These are not just pleasant states, they are high-frequency accelerators. They amplify the signal, sharpen the focus, and expand the range of what your voice can command. A single sentence spoken with belief and deep feeling can do more than 100 empty affirmations whispered with uncertainty. That's why desperation fails to manifest what hope can attract. One is rooted in fear, the other in expectation. The body knows when emotion is present. You feel it. The words become heavier, more meaningful. They echo not just in your mind, but in your chest. When aligned emotion enters speech, it travels farther, not just in the outer world, but within the subconscious. The subconscious, like the universe, responds to feeling. It cannot distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. When you speak a truth with conviction, your subconscious accepts it, and once accepted, the field around you begins to shift. Think of your emotions as colored inks added to the water of your voice. Without emotion, your speech is clear but invisible, heard but unfelt. Add emotion, and suddenly the message becomes vibrant. The entire environment takes notice. You walk into a room and your words change the atmosphere, not because of what was said, but because of how it was felt. Emotion grants your voice a magnetic field, one that pulls reality into orbit around your desire. Yet the art is not just in feeling emotion, but in feeling the right emotion. Speaking your desire with anxiety invites chaos, but wrapping your words in peace and certainty allows them to settle into the field like seeds into fertile soil. That is how emotion becomes an amplifier, not through intensity alone, but through alignment. Speak with love, and the world softens. Speak with confidence, and the path clears. Speak with presence, and the universe listens without delay. Emotion, when harmonized with thought and word, doesn't just amplify the voice, it transforms it into a command. Power without direction dissipates. Intention without clarity drifts. Many stand before the vastness of the universe, voicing vague desires into the field, and then wonder why results arrive scattered or not at all. To say I want more, or I just want to be happy, sends the equivalent of static into a system that functions through precision. Just as a sculptor must envision the form before touching the stone, you must define your desire with detail before energy can organize around it. Clarity is not just about specificity, it's about energetic commitment. It marks the difference between hoping and choosing. When you name what you want with accuracy, you stop floating in indecision and begin carving a path through the unknown. The universe does not respond to vague signals, it responds to focused vibration. A blurry blueprint can't be built, but a sharp vision? That becomes a magnet. It pulls the required people, opportunities, and resources into your field with remarkable efficiency. Clear intention must be present tense, emotionally alive, and rooted in truth. Instead of saying, I wish I had more financial security, say, I am now earning $10,000 a month doing work I love, with freedom and stability. Not only is the statement specific, it's emotionally rich. It offers the subconscious something it can see and feel. The clearer the picture, the more believable it becomes. And belief is what grants permission for manifestation to unfold. Vagueness stems from fear, fear of disappointment, fear of failure, fear of responsibility. But clarity requires courage. It demands that you name your desire fully, even if it stretches you. Clarity says, I'm not just playing with possibilities, I am choosing. When you choose, energy moves. Even the atoms in your body respond differently when you speak with decisiveness. That's why intentions backed by clarity feel different. They carry gravity. They don't just pass through you, they anchor in. When voice, emotion, and clarity unite, your words no longer wander, they arrive. The universe doesn't hesitate when you don't. Clear intention becomes your compass in the unseen. It tells every level of your being, this is where we're headed. And when all of you is aligned in that direction, mind, heart, voice, the pathway begins to clear. Not by accident, but by design. Not by luck, but by law. True asking is an act of authority, not anxiety. The moment a desire is spoken from certainty, a vibration is cast into the field, clean, coherent, and complete. But most people don't ask with authority, they plead. They ask as if hoping for mercy from a distant power, not realizing that their very act of begging implies absence, doubt, and unworthiness. Begging tells the universe, I don't believe I can have this. Asking, when done as a creator, says, this is mine. I am ready. One is born of fear, the other of alignment. The energy behind the request determines the response. You may speak the words, I want love, but if the feeling underneath them is loneliness, fear, or resentment, then the vibration being emitted is not love, it is lack. And because the universe responds to frequency, not vocabulary, it will mirror that lack right back. True asking is never about convincing, it's about broadcasting. It is not a negotiation. It is a declaration rooted in belief and certainty. When you ask clearly and then continue to obsess, repeat, or doubt, you signal a contradiction. It's as if you dial a number, speak a message, and then hang up only to call back every 5 minutes to say the same thing. The field has already received the transmission. There's no need to repeat it out of fear. In fact, doing so scrambles the signal. The most powerful manifestors ask once, then move into embodiment. They begin living, acting, and feeling as if the desire is already on its way, because to the universe it is. Asking must come from a place of wholeness, not from the illusion that something outside of you will complete you. When you believe that you are already enough, your asking becomes clean. It doesn't cling, it doesn't chase, it simply invites. That kind of energy, open, assured, at peace, creates space for the desire to enter. Imagine holding out your hands gently versus gripping them tightly in desperation. One posture receives, the other repels. Use your voice to shape, not to grasp. The formula is simple but profound. What do you want? Why do you want it? How would it feel to already have it? Speak your request aloud with these 3 components infused into the sentence. Then release it. You're not surrendering the desire. You're surrendering the need to control how and when it manifests. The act of releasing is a form of trust, and trust is the final seal that activates your request. Even if no immediate result follows, don't default to panic. The universe doesn't operate on the human clock. Its timing is based on readiness and resonance, not urgency. A request made from integrity will always be answered, perhaps not in the form your mind expected, but always in alignment with your energetic state. Often the response comes quietly. A new idea, a sudden opportunity, a chance encounter. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. To ask without begging is to recognize your divine role in the creative process. You are not less than the universe. You are a voice within it, and when that voice is clear, emotionally charged, and vibrationally aligned, reality begins to shift. Not because you fought for it, but because you remembered who you are. Asking isn't about getting, it's about aligning. Once you speak from that place, your words stop being requests and start becoming commands. After the voice has spoken, after the intention has been declared and the emotion aligned, a sacred space opens, one that most overlook. It is the space between asking and receiving, the quiet corridor where manifestation ripens beneath the surface. In that space, trust is not optional, it is essential. Without it, the energy collapses back into confusion. With it, the vibration continues to build, like a melody sustained beyond the final note. Trust is not the absence of doubt. It is the conscious decision to remain aligned even when evidence is not yet visible. Too often, impatience masquerades as urgency. People speak a desire, and then, moments later, question whether they did it right, whether it worked, whether anything is happening. This cycle of doubt injects static into the field. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to check if it's growing. The process is subtle. Invisible forces are aligning. Circumstances are rearranging. That's what makes trust so powerful. It keeps the vibration stable long enough for the unseen to become seen. Trust does not mean you sit idle. It means you act from knowing, not from need. You continue to live in the frequency of your desire, not out of force, but from embodiment. When fear creeps in, you don't fight it, you recenter. You remember that the universe responds not to panic, but to consistency. Trust is quiet power. It does not shout or beg. It whispers, "I know it's already done." That knowing becomes magnetic. It draws confirmation through signs, synchronicities, and moments of clarity that wouldn't appear if you were constantly doubting the process. In many ways, trust is the echo of your own voice. When you speak from alignment and then rest in certainty, your vibration reverberates through the quantum field. That echo is not just returning to you, it's shaping what's coming. Trust creates coherence. It tells the universe, "I meant what I said, and I'm not taking it back." That level of vibrational integrity collapses delay. It shortens the space between intention and outcome because your energy remains congruent the entire time. Ultimately, trust is a choice, not once, but repeatedly. Each time resistance surfaces, each time evidence seems absent, you choose to trust again. You choose to anchor yourself in the vision, not the void. That choice sends a powerful message, not only to the universe, but to your own subconscious. It affirms that you are not just reacting to the world, you are creating from within it. And in that still, unwavering space, manifestation finds fertile ground. Trust becomes the echo that brings your voice full circle. Receiving is often misunderstood as passive, as if it's something that happens to you. But true receiving is an active state. It requires awareness, openness, and readiness. It's not about sitting still and waiting for miracles to drop into your lap. It's about becoming vibrationally compatible with what you've asked for, holding the energetic posture that says, "I know this is mine." A creator doesn't wait for proof to believe. They believe so fully that proof becomes inevitable. In contrast, a victim doubts, hesitates, and overlooks the blessings when they arrive disguised in unexpected forms. Many people block their manifestations, not because they didn't ask correctly, but because they don't recognize the delivery. The universe often responds in symbols, whispers, and synchronicities, not billboards and trumpets. A new opportunity may come wrapped in inconvenience. A shift in career may first appear as a job loss. A new relationship might arrive quietly, without drama. The victim mind says, "This isn't what I asked for," while the creator says, "This might be better than I imagined." Flexibility in perception allows manifestations to enter freely, without resistance. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to receiving. When you acknowledge even the smallest signs that your desire is unfolding, you strengthen the signal. Gratitude affirms to the universe that you're paying attention, that you're aligned, and that you're ready for more. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing progress, no matter how subtle. A text from someone you were thinking about, a sudden burst of clarity, or an unexpected moment of peace. All are signs that the frequency is shifting. Celebrate them, anchor them. Let them become the evidence your mind needs to stay in alignment. To receive like a creator is to integrate your manifestations into your identity. When what you've asked for shows up, you don't freeze in disbelief. You expand into it. You manage the new money with wisdom. You nurture the new relationship with openness. You treat the new opportunity as normal, not miraculous. This tells the universe, I can hold this, I'm ready for more. Victims receive and doubt. Creators receive and rise. When you speak your reality into being and then welcome it with grace, you complete the cycle of manifestation, not as someone who got lucky, but as someone who always knew. You've now traced the arc from vibration to intention to trust to reception. And through each step, one truth remains. You are not separate from the field you're speaking into. You are it. Your voice is not a signal to a distant God. It is the sound of God remembering itself through you. To use your godlike voice is not to command others. It is to command reality through the authority of your inner alignment. Speak with clarity, feel with certainty. Trust like the stars trust their orbit. That is how reality bends. So the question is no longer if the universe listens. It always has. The question is, what will you say next?